So just to quickly run through the grid, it's Hunter and Gilbert on the front row, Stevenson for Quimmin, Butcher and Hayner, Teen and Van der Stoys, Herbo and Rilletz complete the top 10. Van Wyk, Lee, Jeff Hall, Mrad, Robinson, Terlo, Neeson, Van Verven, Perigny, Marsen, Boshaus, Westhovens, Alasuleti, Spencer Veron, Pat Gubble, Sverre Ubben, Ralph van der Pevert, Louis Grimaupont, Over Anagnostiidis, Bram Ossevada, Mathis Flamand, Theo Lemoyne, Enzo Dickenberg, Rune de Broeke and Baz Janssen. They will complete the 35-strong grid. Taysdam's due to start 26. Again, as I said earlier, a non-starter in this race. The red lights are now extinguished back again without the flashing full start yellow lights. 15 minutes on the timer, plus an additional lap. The 35 drivers come out of the tram lines. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out. We are off and racing. Gilbert goes toe-to-toe with Hunter into the first corner and nearly gets pushed, nearly ends up wide off of the circuit. But the Pride of Scotland holds his ground and stays in second. Now looks to the inside, goes Gilbert, goes for the race lead, but Vic Stevens, all this major contact between, I think that was for Quemmin, Gilbert and Hunter got caught up in the crossfire. And we've got one around, that is more, well, that was a CRG chassis, I believe, possibly, maybe Rune de Broeke. But the race leader now, of all drivers, is Vic Stevens. But now Mitch Haynett looks for the move up the inside, and he's got through. Sean Butcher, however, waits until his opportunity presents itself, and there's Tommy van der Stoys and Vic Stevens. They come together. More dramas in this opening lap than you can shake a stick at. Everyone is trying to go for glory, and you don't win the race on the first lap. You can, by certainly any means, lose it. This is giving opportunity after opportunity. Kai Rilletz now finds himself in the top 6, now make that 5th. And still the battles are up and down the order. That is absolutely mental for a first lap and a bit. But now Sean Butcher, the reigning and defending Euro Trophy champion, runner-up last year, hits the front. Mitch Haynett has had his best weekend so far this season. And he is just behind the 302 from KR Sports. Third looks to be Lawrence Herboz in the 398. And this is where it's going to get interesting. Mitch Haynett, it's Cosmic versus TB through into the opening corner. 1/10 separating Butcher and Haynett. Haynett looks to the inside, then to the outside. Butcher holds his ground. Herboz not too far behind them, but keep your eyes on the 374 of Rilletz as now. Herboz and Haynett go wheel to wheel into the left-hander at turn number 4. And Haynett stays in front. Jaden Teen has got the window of opportunity. Paul Quemmin looks to be out after that incident in the opening 4 corners. Now, this is going to be a race that you won't want to miss. Jaden Teen fires it up the inside of Kai Rilletz, now taking 4th position away from the Belgian. So, after lap 3, Sean Butcher leads the way. Mitch Haynett, Lawrence Herboz. Now add Jaden Teen to that mix. Rilletz, Van Wyk, Jort Van Wyk. Kai Hunter gets past Austin Lee for 7th position. Lewis Gilbert and Ethan Jeff Hall round out the top 10. Paul Quimmin is now confirmed as a retirement from the race. Lewis Gilbert trying to get through. I think he might have had, that might be a Dams racing car briefly to his inside. That might have been Vic Stevens, but Lockie Robinson, wearing the KR Sport Sunday Best Whites, is now moving up the order. He's getting closer and closer as the 326 towards the top 10. Now Kai Hunter gets through on Kai Rilletz. That is a change for what is 6th position on the road. Now Butcher is not getting away, but with a 15-minute race plus an additional lap, strategy, conservation, mechanical sympathy, those are 3 key points that these drop. Oh, we've had someone off big time. Someone hit the grass. Oh, well, Haynert. Haynert's going for the lead again. Oh, dearie me, he's gone over the back bumper and he's off onto the grass. Mitch Haynert loses second. He went for the race lead, dropped the ball, and he's lost 3 positions. Now he's got Rielitz up his inside, down to 6 goes the 305. But look who's behind Sean Butcher. Jaden Thien looks up the inside, clatters into Lawrence Herboz, and they both are off the circuit. And that now has put Kai Hunter back into, of all positions, second. Well, there's still 10 minutes to go. We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there, folks. But you know what? Sean Butcher is keeping his nose clean. Kai Hunter's been caught in the crossfire. Oh, right. 2's company, 3's a crowd. Right here between Austin Lee, Jort van Wyk, Mitch Haynert. I think just behind them is Ethan Jeff Hall. Lewis Gilbert is was ninth coming across the line. He's got Lockie Robinson, whose mum Tracy actually celebrates her birthday today. So many happy returns, Tracy. So it's going to be close between these guys. Oh, well, not at all surprising. Austin Lee gets through. Ethan Jeff Hall gets through on Jort van Wyk and also Mitch Haynert. And here comes the charge of the senior road tax brigade behind, I think, Jort van Wyk. Now we've had a change for the race lead. Sean Butcher loses the lead to Kai Hunter, tries to fire it up the inside of the final corner, gets denied by the number 335. And keep your eyes on who's behind them. The Jaws music is burning into my eardrums right now, because there is the 374 of Kai Rielitz. Jort van Wyk gets up the inside of Mitch Haynert, and through goes Vic Stevens, who did originally lead this race until all hell broke loose at turn number 4 on the opening lap. The top 3 were covered by less than 4 tenths after 6 laps of racing. There has been absolute pandemonium in this race. One incident happens, then a little bit of a chain reaction, but now second is going to change. Rielitz gets through on Butcher for P2. Now the real race begins. Hunter is now going to start to stretch the legs on the Time Racing engine to his immediate right-hand side and pull the pin and go for broke and get the clean sweep. Half a second between P1 and P2, but you can bet your bottom dollar that Kai Rielitz and Sean Butcher will keep on pushing. If they start battling, and there's 3 minutes to go on the timer, and they're over a second behind Kai Hunter, then they are done for. They will not get the race win in the final. A little bit of an inter-strawberry battle here between Ethan Jeff Hall and Austin Lee. The 372 in 4th position ahead of the 397. They've got to be very, very careful, though, because who have they got behind them? Vic Stevens. Well, in all this that's transpired, Scott Westhovens now is running in a genuine 12th position ahead of Mitch Haynert. They've got Lockie Robinson from KR Sport just ahead. Oh, another bit of contact there going through into the chicane. The scuff marks and the indent on Vic Stevens' right-hand side pod really have not been all that great. He's got through on Austin Lee. Ethan Jeff Hall's now ahead of this trio. Going to be close here. Careful, careful. Keep it on the racing line, because who have you got behind you? Martin van der Stroys. I'm going to say these 2 words. I haven't said them in a way. He hasn't been this, but he was at one point Mr. Domination. Remember 2019? Well, he's going to try and see if he can put his Mr. Domination stamp on the 3 in front of him, because it hasn't been the easiest weekend for Tommy van der Stroys. Vic Stevens now will have a chance to keep a hold of that 5th position, but Lewis Gilbert is closing in on them, so is Lockie Robinson. Lawrence Herboz, I'm not at all surprised after that incident with Jaden Thien, is out on lap 6. Jaden Thien, I think, is still running. He's currently 17th. But the gap is now starting to extend. Sean Butcher fires it up the inside through on Kai Gillerts. And now he really needs to get a little bit of wriggle on. But the waft has not been with KR Sport this weekend. It has been in the favour of DHR. Strawberry Racing, it's been a bit of a mixed bag in terms of performance, but also luck. You've got to have a little bit of luck in the races as well as the performance with you on the right-hand side, and especially with the cart underneath you. And especially with some drivers come to this track and they haven't raced it before, it's a completely different uphill curve. You've got to be on the fly. You've got to really sort of quickly get that cart adapted through the training sessions that occur before the race weekend. And now, with 5 minutes and 10 seconds still to go, Kai Hunter leads the way by 1.3 seconds. And now we've got a little bit of a fight on our hands because Lewis Gilbert has got through on Jort van Wijk and Austin Lee. Gilbert now trying to get to close that gap between himself and Tommy van der Stroys. And Gilbert behind him has got Austin Lee, Jort van Wijk, Scott Westhovens for the first time, I think, in a very long time. I've seen him in the top 10. He's running 10th at the moment ahead of Mitch Haynett. And Sverre Ubben, who's got past Lockie Robinson. That's for 12th place. Dion van Verven, Johnny's in the pre-final for the 377. He's currently running in 14th ahead of Simon Perigny from France. They round out the top 15. So just over 4 minutes remaining. Now a change. Oh, bit of a deep brake there. Well, deep on the brakes goes Vic Stevens as he went through on Ethan Jeff Hall. Sverre Ubben being kept to the outside through into turn 4, courtesy of Mitch Haynett, who's just got through on Scott Westhovens for position. And now again, second and third, change positions. It's like musical chairs between these two, but it's been all fair in terms of the positions being gained in the correct way, in terms of using the right way to overtake. Now, Kai Rilletts actually did a nice little bit of a throwback earlier on this week on Instagram, where he posted a picture of himself from 2015 when he was a Minimax driver. He's been a part of this championship for quite a few years as the 374. Still remember when he used to battle in Minimax along with the likes of Luca Lystra, Thomas Martins, the ginger one, as he's affectionately known by us here at Karting Genk, by the team at Karting Genk and the BNL. And a little bit of a scrap. Oh, a bit clumsy there from Dion van Verven, getting into the right rear of Sverre Ubben. Lockie Robinson's got Scott Westhovens to his inside. Robinson now manages to shut the door for Simon Perigny to not get through. And still the train led by Sverre Ubben in the 344 from GKS Levens Power. Keeping ahead of Dion van Verven, Scott Westhovens, Lockie Robinson. Nice little move there by the recovering Jaden Teen. Gets through on the man that's trying to imitate, who is the Dutch equivalent of Sean Butcher when it comes to hairstyles. He's got a bit of a mullet going on, and he's just come back from holiday before this weekend. From Gran Canaria. Thanks to Bram Ossevada for giving me the heads up on that one. But it is now a fait accompli, as they would say. Looks like the writing is on the wall, because Kai Hunter, despite having been embroiled in that battle at the front end of the field that involved and unfortunately caused the demise of Paul Forquemin, Lewis Gilbert, who's currently 7th, and Kai Hunter, who dropped towards the bottom part of the top 10. The 20-year-old from Sunderland is now nearly 2.1 seconds ahead of Kai Rilletts, and also just a further 2 and a bit tenths ahead of Sean Butcher. A couple of drivers have already done the clean sweeps this weekend, 2 of which are from Mini Rookie. And Kai Hunter is just a handful of laps away. 3 to go. His lead now 2.33 seconds ahead of Rilletts. Butcher now dives to the inside at turn 3, and he gets through for second. This is like Tom and Jerry. Which one's the cat? Which one's the mouse? I can't tell the difference. Well, give them both a fair crack at the whip. Great battle between them, but as I said, if they're 3 minutes away from the checkered, plus an additional lap, and you start battling, you give that person in front of you up the road an opportunity to get away. That's exactly what Hunter has done. Willett sweeps to the outside. Oh, dearie me. Not the way you want to end your weekend. And that's Kaz Boshouse. 2 laps to go. The lead now is 3.1 seconds between Kai Hunter and Sean Butcher. Gillerts was right up the exhaust pipe of Butcher going into turn 1, now through into turn 3. Butcher keeps it high, wide and handsome and stays ahead of Gillerts. That was firm, that was fair, that was committed. Great job there by both Kai Rillets for having the spatial awareness to keep things out of the way. We've got another driver. Oh, don't tell. Now, Kaz Boshouse is out. Could that have been Bram Ossevada, possibly? Because he's tumbled down like a stone into the last race, into 33rd position, into last place. But the timer has now officially expired. The drivers make their way down the hill for what will be the penultimate time. It's now not just the last lap of the race, it's the last lap of the weekend. Kai Hunter looking to do 5 from 5, lead Sean Butcher by nearly 3.5 seconds. Kai Rillett still trying to go for second, and he looks up the inside, a little bit of a slight glancing touch between the pair, and another one, they rub wheels. Oh, that was uncalled for, and through comes Ethan Jeff Hall to steal third from Sean Butcher. It was going to come to a head. And now Vic Stevens looks up the inside. There's Tommy van der Stroys. Butcher fires it back up the inside of the 369. And van der Stroys mugs the pair of them on the final lap to go P3. A P4, sorry. I got so excited I got a position wrong on that particular occasion. But you know what? There's one person who needs no real... Well, he's going to celebrate. He's got every right to do so. Kai Hunter. 3 heat victories yesterday, wins the final and the pre-final. He's done a clean sweep. That's the 3rd one to the team led by Dan Holland. To Dan and the crew, congratulations. It's Kai Hunter that wins. Kai Gillerts rounds out the top 3 after a multi-lap battle with Sean Butcher, who finishes 5th behind Ethan Jeff Hall and Tommy van der Stroys. Vic Stevens, Lewis Gilbert, Mitch Hayner, Austin Lee, and Jort van Wyk round out the top 10. Dion van Verven, Sverre Ubben, Jaden Thien, Lockie Robinson, Scott Westhoven, Simon Perigny, Ralph van der Pevert, Mathis Turlo, Luke Neeson, Montego Marston round out the top 20, completing the 31 drivers, or 30 that finished all 17 laps of racing are as follows. Baz Janssen, Spencer Brom, Kamal Mrad, Eva Anagnostiidis, Louis Grimopont, Enzo Dickenberg, René de Broeke, Pat Gubbles, Mathis Flamand, Theo Lemoynier, Qatar's Bader Al-Souleti, unfortunately finishing a lap down off of the leaders, but finished the race. Kaz Boshouse out. Bram Ossevada out on lap 14. Lawrence Herbo's out after the incident with Jaden Thien. And Paul Forquemin retiring on the first lap after the multi-cart contact through turn 4. Taze Dams, a non-starter.